Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture Minister, Mr. Zizi Kodwa, has expressed sadness at the passing of Dr Mbongeni Ngema. Now, the minister says the passing of Dr Ngema is a significant loss to South African arts. We now speak directly to the minister who joins us on the line. A very good morning, Minister Kodwa. Thank you so much for your time on the program today. So perhaps let's just get your immediate reaction to the news of the passing of Dr Mbongeni Ngema.
Well, my immediate reaction last night was that of shock and devastation, given the person that I know, and not because I was not, I've not spoken to him for some time, but the untimely passing of a stalwart, of a veteran of the liberation struggle against apartheid using art. It's a great honor to him. Some of us who grew younger who listened and watched him, and we enjoyed. Not only was he participating in throwing stones, but also using the creative arts. And I think it goes beyond just the borders of South Africa. He used art really to amplify the oppressed conditions of the people, the majority of this country, through music, through playwriting, through songs. And I think we'll miss him a lot. When I spoke to the family last night, clearly there was devastation. I was too devastated, but I hope to visit the family in the next couple of hours and in the couple of days. When we got calls from Eastern Cape where the incident said to have happened, we hope that having spoken both to the Eastern Cape government as well as the KwaZulu-Natal government, they will frustrate all the other necessary arrangements to make sure that his body is received at his birthplace.
And Minister, I also just want us to delve into the work that he has done, his contribution in terms of telling stories and contributing significantly to the landscape of South Africa right now, where we are as a country as well. Let's speak about the role that he played and how important was the role that he played insofar as social cohesion is concerned.
Absolutely important. I was just talking to some of the legends now recently with the win of Amabokoboko and what it did to the country. I said maybe it's an opportunity for filmmakers, for producers, for songwriters, those who can do documentaries, to do something about that moment that was happening in the country, as you will recall. I said it's history. People like him that can sing about, people can dance about, people really can produce short films, documentaries about what has happened. He's got all of that as a playwright, as a director and a producer. He had all of that opportunity. And it's only him that I could have thought about somebody who could really define that moment in South Africa in terms of social cohesion, being born and grew up in Verulam in Durban. He understood the relationship of social cohesion and the need of social cohesion. And of course, in 2023, there are a number of setbacks when it comes to social cohesion. But the continued voices like he always does, is what gives us hope as a people of South Africa. We've lost, this is a great loss to the country, this is a great loss to the industry, and I'm sure that in his name, there's a lot that we must do to double the efforts of the country of his dream, that he dreamed about, a country that is non-racial, non-sexist, a country that is democratic, that respects human rights, a country that is social cohesive, that accepts one another, not on the basis, looking at each other on the basis of race and so on.
Yeah, and I want us to also turn sharp focus to his work on Sarafina, Minister. I mean, this is still a movie that resonates with so many South Africans and still reflects maybe a darker time in our past here as a country. I want us to find out whether, are there any plans as well to build on this particular legacy that he has left behind?
There's a lot that we are doing. There's a lot that we are still doing. And I'm sure now that in honor and in memory of his work, there's a lot that we can do. You must remember, we as a department, there's a lot of work that we're doing with one of our entities called Playhouse in Durban. And that is where a lot of talent, both in this country, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal, it has been really a production factory of talent, that entity. And there's a lot of work that we're doing with him. And I'm sure there's a lot of collaboration now. We may have to do more to make sure that we honor his work, including, the outstanding internationally acclaimed work of Sarafina, Asina Mali, and many others, including the most popular song, Istimela Sasenzola. There's a lot that we can do, and I'm certain that in the discussions that we'll have soon, either with Playhouse, our entity, which has been working with him in terms of his work, as well as meeting with the family, there's a lot of collaboration and a lot of things that we need to do to honor this legend.
Now, I see as we even having this conversation, even on X, tributes continue to pour in as we continue with this conversation as well. Perhaps let's talk about the legacy that he leaves behind. How will he be remembered?
Well, we'll remember firstly somebody who understood that the South African liberation struggle at that time was not just about people having to go outside of the country. He understood that he comes from a generation that we can use music, we can use art, we can use creative or cultural sector to express and amplify the conditions of the ostracized and oppressed people of this country. And it was through him, through performing art, through music, sometimes through fashion, to explain and amplify the conditions of the majority who were oppressed and ostracized at the time. And that is where I think at this moment, when I talk about social cohesion, again, the question you asked earlier, what's the role of the creative art in making sure that we still express the conditions, one, of the progress we've made in terms of building social cohesive society, and the setbacks, and some of the challenges we face, unemployment, it was about GBV. You need people from the creative art, people like him, to showcase and really tell the stories about the conditions of our people and some of the difficulties as a country that we go through at the moment.
Minister, thank you so much for your time there. And that is, of course, the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture Minister, Mr. Zizi Kodwa, joining us there. Thank you very much indeed for sharing your reflections on the program.